her family was told they couldn't call her death a homicide for more than a year, and there have still been no arrests. Fox News' Catherine Hessel sat down with the family in tonight's Metro's Most Wanted.
It's a horrible hell.
Karen Mason describes her life as that since her daughter Sarah was shot and killed. Drew says that his sister was a nurturer, generous and giving. Karen says that Sarah was her best friend.
She was going to school at the community college, St. Charles Community College, for a business degree, and she wanted to open a daycare eventually.
In October of 2017, 20-year-old Sarah had moved out of her mother's house and into the first place of her own. 2 years earlier, Sarah had lost her father unexpectedly to pancreatic cancer. The family was now closer than ever. Now Sarah's new place was still just about a mile from her mom's house. That fall, Sarah was about 7.5 months pregnant.
Her having the baby at Christmas time was going to be just joyful, and we were just really looking forward to having an addition to the family.
Sarah had named her baby Milani. A baby shower was planned for the Sunday after Halloween. But before the shower came, a true horror story unfolded October 31st. As Karen was headed home from work, she got a call that something had happened at Sarah's house. When she got there, the street was blocked off with crime scene tape.
And then an officer started approaching me, so I knew at that point something wasn't good.
Sarah had been found by her then-boyfriend on the ground, bleeding from the back of her head.
Immediately after discovered, there were some circumstances found at the scene that really kind of threw out some question marks to the officers on the scene, as well as to the medical examiner.
St. John Police Chief John Morris wouldn't go into detail, but says that at the scene, the medical examiner couldn't tell if Sarah had fallen, committed suicide, or if they had a homicide on their hands.
Forensic evidence was collected at the scene, and forensic evidence later determined that it was in fact a homicide.
Sarah had been shot in the back of the head. Karen says that Milani lived for an hour and a half after Sarah had been shot, but no one found either of them in time. Now, Chief Morris says that from the beginning, they had a person of interest.
We feel very confident as to who's responsible for this.
But it took 5 weeks to rule the death a homicide, so the scene wasn't initially processed as one, and no one was questioned that day. Morris says there are at least 3 to 5 people who know exactly what happened to Sarah and her baby and aren't saying anything.
There's people out there protecting this person. I have a problem with that. They're here to protect a cold-blooded murderer.
Karen says for a year, detectives told her not to tell anyone that her daughter's death was a homicide. Morris says that's because they were trying to build a bigger case. Karen wonders daily if that strategy hurt or helped Sarah and Milani's chances of justice.
Her story ended way too soon.
Milani was delivered post-mortem. Karen held her, and so did Sarah.
It's the first time Sarah's holding her baby was in their casket.
Now both of their ashes are inside of a light that sits by Karen. It's never been turned off. And Chief Morris says that this case is not cold, closed, or over. Reporting, I'm Catherine Hessel, Fox 2 News.
The Mason family has put $5,000 into a fund for information leading to an arrest. Crime Stoppers also now offering up to $10,000 for tips leading to an arrest.
A Fox 2 follow-up.